Hi all, welcome to TeamLease webinar, and today we'll delve into the fascinating topic of how technology can enhance hiring and productivity for organizations. Over the past 2 decades, technology has rapidly advanced to become an integral part of every organization, enabling them to build efficient workforces, boost their productivity, and optimize their cost. However, the key question remains, to what extent can technology empower companies to execute their objectives effectively and more efficiently? A decade ago, technology was perceived differently, and an early example of its impact was the advent of online jobs portals. These portals marked an initial stage of technical evolution in the realm of recruitment, but today the pace at which the technology is developing surpasses everyone's expectation and assumptions regarding its future trajectory. Every organization is now focused on developing technology that can streamline their operations and recruitment process to hire capable personnel, thereby enhancing efficiency and productivity. The influence of technology on hiring and productivity will be discussed today by experts who can shed light on how technology has transformed the way candidates are sourced, evaluated, and selected. They will also explore how technology-based tools and platforms have improved collaboration, communication, and job management compared to the previous methods. Let's begin our discussion and explore the profound impact of technology on the hiring landscape and overall productivity within the organizations. With this, I am delighted to welcome Mrs. Charanpreet Kaul Charles and Mr. Sanjeev Charan for this webinar to understand the views and insights about the topic. Talking about the participants, Mrs. Charanpreet Kaur is the AVP of Midland Credit Management Limited and she's based out of New Delhi. Midland Credit Management is an American debt and collection company headquartered in the United States as well as in India. It's a wholly owned subsidiary of Encore Capital Group and is the largest debt collector in the US at this point of time. Talking about Mr. Sanjeev Charan is the Director of HR for ZTE. He's a strategic HR professional with global experience and strong exposure on culture building, performance management, and business HR. He also headed the globalization project based in China with the focus of setting up HR lead process and policy aligned to global best practices. So coming to the topic, first of all, I would like to have your thoughts about this technology. First, Charanpreet from your side and from Sanjeev next, about how technology in your industry is influencing the productivity and also the hiring. So I would like to have a thought about the particular point from your side, Charan, to start with.
Sure. Thank you, Maha. And thank you for having me with the esteemed panelist, Sanjeev, also by my side. So talking about, I think, technology and how it is changing everything around us, not just talking about hiring, specifically after COVID and the pandemic, I think it has accelerated the speed at which, digitization was hitting us, and it has multifoldly, accentuated the speed of how everybody needed to be digitally accessible to the world and how the world needed to be accessible to an individual. And hiring has not been untouched. I think there are many of the manual aspects which are now every organization is hoping to move to digitally or have an automation at least triggered, which is bringing in more efficiency and also improving the experiences of everyone involved, including the candidate, recruiter, and organization as a whole.
Great. Thank you, Charan. So, Sanjeev, your thought on this?
Thanks, and thanks for having me as a panelist. And actually, it is actually what Charanpreet has actually started it, and she put it very rightly that it has actually technology is now replacing everything. It is on the way where even the next step would be that not only the thoughts, the processes, it is going towards the thing which a human doesn't know even. So there is no end to it. And post COVID, actually, COVID is something which was, I would put it in a different way, that COVID was brought in the third industrialization. So it brought it that earlier it was the machine. Now it is the machine versus, there was already the fight between the machine and the human. Now it is the fight between digital and the human. So now it is impacting the process, the enabler, the form of technology as an enabler is coming up, where the role between the technology is that it should ease the way of looking at things, looking at the various aspects of HR. So not only recruitment, it is also about the onboarding, about the training, OD, even sensing the triggers. So the technology is will be part and parcel, which will be a third kind of a separate kind of, I would say, the veins or the blood in our human life.
So Sanjeev, so the next that he does, so in your particular industries, what are some of the challenges you face in hiring today, right? And to retain the talented workforce, right? For example, we're talking about technology today. So before, I presume that you're moving towards that objective of implementing technology across. One is that you work with partners like us, and for your own hiring, you try to implement new technologies to make the hiring process more easier. So, so I would like to know what are the challenges in hiring that you have faced in the past, and what are the things that you do to retain the workforce?
Thanks. So, ZT itself is a technology organization. So we breathe, we sleep, we totally on the technology itself. So like there are 4 players, Ericsson, Nokia are the 2 Europeans, and ZT Huawei are the 2 Chinese organizations which are there who have brought in the technology. And so this 2G, 3G, 4G, 5G, they all are these are the technologies. So, and we are operating in around 160 countries with approximately 65,000 employees globally. And then our manpower is totally project-based kind of thing. So while with the partners, why we look for the partners is that the partners that being a technology organization, and we hire the employees, especially with the employees, what we hire is they have to be the technology manpower. So like even if we talk about the implementation guys, or somebody who is working on the towers and fixing your BTS and other things, they're also the technology specific kind of thing. So how technology is helping us is that it is while the country is going from, at least after 3G, the 4G and 4G, the technology, the country has opened up, and there are lots and lots of opportunities. And what technology and the partners they help us is that providing a better portfolio, or the better portfolio of the manpower or the type of manpower, where you can easily choose between it, because now distance doesn't play any role. And the network what you are providing it as that every place where there is no network, out of these 4 players would be there. So to put up their towers, put up their sites and everything. So you need manpower who is ready to go to those places. And any organization like us, they need partners who can actually get and can make the manpower available. Can make the manpower available at those places. So when the partners, they play their own role, the technology is there that they are available, and they are the right kind of manpower or right kind of skill is available, and that is what the technology. So it helps us the marrying the requirement versus the skill, and that is the best role I would say that the technology is playing, is that marrying the skill versus the requirement of the organization like us. So the requirement changes very drastically, and fortunately, unfortunately, it is the manpower led and the manpower led, the employee led industry. So the demand is also there from the employees also. So the cost also, you have to see, the cost is also plays an important role, the skill also plays the important role, and the requirement also plays the important role. So it helps us building or bringing them together.
Got it. Great. Absolutely, you're right. So, Charan, so I strongly believe that Midland believes in more diverse and inclusive work culture, right? So, the next question to you is that how has technology contributed to building this diverse and inclusive workforce in Midland today?
Right. I think diversity again is a journey, and inclusion is a bigger journey to be on. Technology has supported, and it is at this point in time, like I'll pick up on Sanjeev. What he initially said is an enabler, and it has worked wonderfully to bring in, women. We have focused on for many years to bring in a healthy gender mix from a male to female ratio for a very long time, and we've been able to successfully achieve about 35 to 36, and we are continuing to focus on the gender mix on between two genders. However, in the recent years, I think diversity has gone beyond two genders. We've started to look at the entire LGBTQI community. There are job fairs which are done, with webinar setups and virtual setups. This has expanded the reach to where people are, and you can just sit at where you're sitting in your office or at home and be able to interview somebody remotely or give them that opportunity to apply remotely, and allow the processes of screening, assessment, and all of that being done virtually, which was, I don't think so, 4 5 years back also even thought as possible, unless the organization really was willing and they were really looking out for somebody who was remotely placed and was willing to go that route. So that has become like a norm. You can now bring in not just the gender diversity from two genders to multiple genders, but we are also now bringing in people with special abilities, also looking at what all accessibility needs they may have in an organization. Are these locomotive issues? Are these other than locomotive issues? So that has enabled us to engage with a broader pool of candidates, including veterans. I'd say, moving away from just gender, but also looking at societal needs. Like there are people who have generational diversity is one big thing. Like where we know that there is a lot of experience sitting, and they may have the need for a job, and we know we spoke about the challenges on hiring side, right, and retaining. So when you see there is an early attrition, there are people who we've spoken about millennials, and we know how very quickly people are changing mindsets, and you don't want to be labeled or want to stick around for too long. So those challenges have we've been able to kind of overcome those challenges with bringing in diversities of veterans into organizations, providing them an opportunity and the organization getting that opportunity. Also, generational diversity where there is reverse coaching, mentoring also possible, and we gain of more experiential learning from them, and there's a win-win for both sides, I'd say.
Definitely. See the point where non-technology issues, right, are partially we use technologies, right? So the major problem that the kind of industry that we are in faces is the attrition, right? Mostly the attrition is pretty high. Okay, so do you think the intervention which is far superior to identify the right candidate?
So, if I understood your question correctly, I think the intervention with technology has, I think it will play a bigger role in future. However, we are at a nascent stages of testing the waters and seeing what bots and how technology can help us with keeping the candidates warm. For example, if somebody's working and they are looking for a job and they do apply at midnight. In regular scenario, what may happen is a recruiter may look at the best opportunity will be the very next day, and the candidate may be engaged after once a recruiter has had a check in on how many applications may have come in. But with technology now coming in, the interventions are automated. The algorithms and the, how AI is playing, it is helping and enabling to keep the candidate warm and keeping them updated on what can be the next steps. I think that's what I meant. The bots will continue to engage and keep the candidate warm. And because it is new at this point in time, we are yet to see how far this can be developed and how this can enable us even more to engage and keep the candidates warm while they apply at any point in time in a day.
How do we use the technology, right, from our side, right? For example, if I have technology, right, as a recruiter, I want to know how effectively I can use the technology today to hire people, right? I can be used in both the ways, either both the sides, plus or minus, right? So it makes very compulsive situation for the recruiters to find the right technology and use it in a more effective way, right? So do you think there is a special set of skills and competencies needed by our HR people to run these tools in future when the technology improves? Or in that way, what do you think? What kind of skills and competencies should our HR professional should develop themselves to run this more effectively in hiring?
Technology, actually, when for everything, even if you have to go for a cooking or something, you need to learn something. And currently we are in a very volatile environment where we just don't know what is in for future. So, and COVID has actually made it a little more volatile. We really don't know. Nobody was even aware of it, that people like in our organization, work from home was never thought about it. That was complete no. Now it is that complete yes. We had to that yes, now work from home can work. So everything is is unpredictable. Now for this thing, the most important thing is about the when you have something, then you should know how to handle it. It is technology is actually, I would say that for the HR or for anybody, if something new is there, it is like it is driving four-wheeler. If you don't know it, then you know it what you're going to do with that four-wheeler sitting on the steering. So the most important thing is that the most important basic skill of the any HR person to be successful in the, whether it is for recruitment or for anything, it is engagement something, they should know the business. They should actually know the business in and out. Then only you will understand that what is actual need of the business. And then based on that, they will be able to understand, and then they gauge the requirement. And once you understand the business, then you are able to address the query of the candidate. Let's talk about the recruitment. While technology plays a very important role in bringing the two skill sets and the requirement and even making the candidate available, which is that one is the learning the technology, how to use it kind of thing, which is trainable. But recruitment or engagement or retention, it is, I always say that it is the trust selling. You sell trust. You actually sell trust to to somebody who is unknown. So one is the understanding the technology, how to run it, then how to use it, and then how to communicate it. And then these are the things which is the professional skills are needed. And then the personal skill which is needed is that, and the other business skill is needed is that you should know your business, that what is my business need is. So learning the nitty-gritties of the technology is very important for an HR person. But before learning, it is more important to understand the business in and out. Otherwise, you will not be able to neither internal nor external person, you will be able to build the connect. And connect can only be built if you have built that trust factor is there, that yes, I'm actually talking to the right person. So while Chanpreet had said that very nicely, is that by even at any point of time, the candidate has the the feasibility is there to apply. And then it actually helps the employees, the recruiter, that at the own convenience one can actually connect back. But it keeps the system warm and the candidates warm, and even the internal employees, if it is required for the engagement, it warms. But so understanding there are lots and lots of the technological things are coming up, but the role of the HR or the partners like you is that you should know that it is where it needs to be customized, because every system cannot work in every organization. It cannot be a general system, so it has to be customized. So the understanding your own business and understanding the technology, you will be able to do much meaningful contribution to in utilizing or improvising the technology for the usage, if I have been able to explain it better.
Yeah, definitely is not going to be a smooth sailing for every organization when they try to implement the technology, right? One is, there are a few challenges, right? One is to making their own team aware of how to use the technology, right? The second one is that how do I find the right resources using the technology, and what kind of, there should be certain criteria for a recruiter, even if they use technology to go and select a candidate, right? Because it's very important for the organizations to work out a criteria, what are the kind of things that I can feed into the system to get the right candidates, right? These are the kind of definitely training that they have to give to their employees, and these are going to be a challenges, right? And definitely there will be limitations also in this case, right? And it's very important for the organization to plan in advance how these challenges and limitations can be mitigated over a period of time, and make their hiring team also more effective for hiring using technology, right?
So I'll just
So
add on, if I'm allowed.
sorry.
Carry on. The very simple example was that when we started during COVID, we started working through Zoom and the any of the platform. There were two set of employees suddenly within 2 months. Two set of employees came. One was this a super performer in sales or anything, was no more a super performer because he did not or she did not have the ability to communicate online. And then there was another set of the people who were just an average one, suddenly came up as the stars. So what was that? The thing was that people, that your past performance and with the new requirement of the technology, the marriage was required. So the people who were good into the technology, how to communicate. So the same way in the teaching, in the teaching thing also, it happened the same thing. So I think that was just an example I was trying to give it, is that the basic thing is that if you know the job, but you also should also know the technology, and then what is the need of that. So the total ecosystem is to be developed. So the organization need is also there. And most other than the organization, it is the individual is responsible for the self-development. It is not the organization is always required for the development, can only give you the platform, but individual keenness is required to go for it.
Valid points. So in fact, you rightly said, these two scenarios, right? When we recruit people, at least when human intervention is there, we try to identify the resource, what kind of skill sets and capabilities they have, right? Today, you put someone on online sales, for example, sell through technology or use technology or to sell to customers. Some will excel, but when you meet the clients directly, they will not be excellent to that level of the other person is doing, right? So in this case, a very important thing is that technology should be able to identify these kind of resources, these kind of resources, who falls into what slab. So I really doubt technology has evolved to the stage at this point of time, but we hope that will evolve to a certain stage to that level, so that these things can be addressed, right? So that the productivity will become consistent from whatever resource that you select today, right? So Charan, yeah, so the thing is that, do you think the AI or an automated interview bots play a role in finding the better candidates faster and effective than what we do today?
I'd say, what you mentioned is absolutely true. It is still an evolving phenomena. It has not evolved to where everybody is imagining for it to be. It's like I imagine and then it just happens. We're not there yet. And I'm picking on, the previous questions conversation, bringing an side of that to how filtration needs human intervention still. So if I have a JD right now and I put the JD into system, it will pick up keywords. There will be things like, let's say, specific technologies mentioned, where I talk about, let's say, Palo, Cisco, Alto, or maybe storage, or, it could be AWS, or where it does pick up those specific keywords. However, competency is not where, we find technology can take over human intervention still. We may be able to find questions which will again be fed, and then if it is fed, then that there are people who will find ways around of beating that system also. So if a recruiter, let's say, was to put in a questionnaire into chat GPT, similarly a candidate may be able to put in the same question to get the right answer for it. So it cannot, I think, take over the power of an interaction and the human capability of maneuvering. To what I think Sanjeev pointed out also is your ability to maneuver, to improvise, look at what is the need of the hour and quickly change, and that dynamic ability that human beings bring in. Technology at this point in time is still evolving, and it'll continue to be an enabler, but not be able to do the end to end. At this point in time, I do see that there are things that technology is helping us with doing. For example, if I was to screen 150 resumes in a day, that for a human being may be cumbersome and time consuming. Technology may be able to do this at one go, and it'll give you, let's say, it's a 60% match or a 80% match. Then you can expend your time on where you see a higher uh, probability of finding the right or suitable candidate. However, finding the right, appropriate, suitable candidate is still a need of a conversation to understand whether they have displayed those competencies or it is only written. So that judgment call, I think AI is a little far from that yet.
Any thoughts on this, Sanjeev, from your side? Charan's point.
I totally agree with what she said, is that that actually it let's not look at that technology as the replacement of the human thing, because let's not forget that we humans have created it, so it cannot beat. The teacher is always a teacher. A student can never be as intelligent or sharp as the teacher. By the time the student comes to the level of the teacher is a little bit still ahead of it. So it cannot be the thing, and it is a support. And AI is can help you. You should know how to use it, but should not give. You should not allow this technology to start maneuvering you. It is the enabler. It should not become a disabler if you're too dependent on the technology. Like uh, last week I was in one of the conference, and a very senior person said that there was somebody had since he was a surprise like last minute entry, his introduction was Googled, and it was Googled, and it was not Googled. It was basically they actually did it on the AI. And believe me, the facts which came up was that because it was Rao and then Rao, and it mixed up that it was the Rao to the Narsimha Rao's, some of the qualities and education quality was also read. So AI is something like it is the garbage in, garbage out. So you should know how to use it your own wisdom. And like what Chanjit said is very rightly said, is about when it is the judging, that taking the final call on the candidate, it is the human judgment is needed. And exactly, I would like to just take it forward that for the senior level employees in our organization, or for the critical role, whether it is on the team lease or not on the team lease, we take the lots of senior people, the lots of the mid-level good people, also senior level people also on the team lease, depending on our constraint. We, after all the evaluation, we at least meet informally, if the role is critical, at least 3 to 4 times, just to assess that, okay, performance, skill, everything is there. The person is right fit in my culture or not, because I know what is my culture. The system doesn't know.
Absolutely
I know
right.
which are the people the person has to work with. So the might be the best guy from the best or the competitor might not fit in our organization. So ultimately, it is, both have their role, both have their own role, but technology till now, it is let's hope that it will evolve as one of the best partner, but it cannot be the master at this moment.
Absolutely, as rightly said by you and Sharon, I also don't foresee the technology completely replacing the human intervention, right? Today, you talk about culture, you talk about learning, upskilling, everything needs human intervention in an organization, right? Because you know how to upskill a candidate based on your culture, based on your business, right? Definitely, I cannot feed in initially in terms of when recruiting a guy, I cannot feed into the technology, whatever tool I'm using, and tell, okay, I want to upskill this guy in so and so in future and recruit. At least we are not reached to that point of time, at least now, right? As you rightly said, we can always consider an evolving technology. You may not know tomorrow, because we use AI today. People are coming, a lot of companies are telling that they're developing AI to recruit the right people. In that way, what I can see is that my recruiter's productivity can increase to a certain bit, right? For example, like how Charanpreet said, if I'm going to screen our 100 profiles manually, it takes pretty long time, right? When I use a technology, when I have a system in place, an artificial intelligence system in place, I can feed in the keywords and automatically the system pushes, right? So instead of a day, I can do it in an hour or two, right? How chatbot, for example, you want to draft a fantastic mail to your customer, right? You have been thinking of how to do it for almost half a day. You know, what kind of mail I should write, what kind of wordings I can use. Similarly, chatbot comes into picture, and you feed in and throws the complete mail, in a high funda language, and there is again Quillbot to manage what chat was done. So technology is evolving further, right? It's keeping what to say. We can think or we can wish is that it reaches to a point where everything becomes very simple. Yeah, but at this point of time, definitely, as both of you rightly said, I don't think technology cannot do something on its own 100% without human intervention, because there are a lot of elements involved in that. It's not only hiring, not only finding people and putting, because there is multiple process beyond that. Okay, I hire person through technology, I find the right candidate, I put him onto the recruiter interviews, then what? Because when the recruiter interviews, everything goes into is connects to the culture of the organization that he is working for, right? Which at this point of time, technology cannot do anything on that, right? So in future also, there is no clarity on how technology can intrude to that level where it can understand the culture of the organization. Okay, unless it's fed in by manually fed in by the recruiter, understand the culture of the organization, and now it can select person accordingly who can cope into the working environment of the organization. That is far away today, right? As rightly said. So we hope one day it will evolve to certain level, today or later in the stage. It will evolve to a certain level where we can always proudly say, right, okay, my job has been made easy. I'm able to get the right people without much human intervention. I'm able to get as many as people I want. I'm doing my job effectively. That's it. Going forward, that's what we have to wish, and we have to wait and watch when this is going to happen in future. Great. These are the points that we really wanted to discuss, and it's great to have you a part of this webinar, and good insights from both of you. And definitely, we'll see, how we also from TeamLease can implement technology to certain level, to the level that it can support us and support our customers like your companies. We'll see what we can do going forward. Definitely, we are open for technology. We are working with multiple vendors. We are working with multiple people who are ready to develop technology for us hiring, because our business completely runs on hiring. Our business's core backbone is hiring. Hiring has to be improved. So that way, we are also looking into multiple technology to see how we can work and take this forward. But whatever technology comes into picture today or later, we will be the first company to implement, being one of the major hiring company for our customers. Yeah. So
I
any other
just
point,
wanted,
Sharon, Sanjeev? Yeah.
right, from hiring standpoint, and I'm building on, the hiring tools which are technology based and are also supporting decision making faster. There are various different tools and organizations which are building more efficient tools on hiring, assessment and screening as well. For example, let's say what we do is primarily on the frontliner hiring. There is a skill assessment on the language and spoken ability, on English spoken pronunciation, vocabulary, diction, and things like that. Now, if you search Google or if you're out in the market looking for tools, various different ways of finding a right fit to the accent and the technologies, which will provide you how this scoring is very different, and they are available at a spectrum at different various ranges of prices and abilities. For you to find what is it that you're looking for and what you would like to screen itself is a journey. And for in your mind, you have to be very sure what is your budget, how much can you go deeper, and what are the results these tools are providing. While you go in, you look at UAT or initial test to understand what the tools can bring in. Sometimes there's a match, and there are other places where you may need to do customization for your own needs. And also talking about the culture fitment, I think there are a lot of organizations which are bringing in tools with psychometric test enable assessments at all levels. However, they come at a price and they're expensive, and the ability to test them right now is coming at a premium. We're really hoping that technology will evolve to a level where these assessments are made more accessible to all organizations at all levels, so that culture fitment also becomes a bigger and a broader part of hiring processes at a more reasonable prices as well. Like, let's say if I was to hire a contractor, I may not want to invest into an MBIT or any other psychometric test, because I know the engagement is going to be very short term. However, if technology is available and it is available within the budget and the pocket, which is where I see technology is also moving slowly to, I'd say there are different speeds where different organizations are operating at right now. But I do see that as part of evolution, all of that is where the industry is hoping to be, specifically on recruitment at least. I think we concluded saying that there are tools which are still evolving in the industry, where we may be able to assess the better fit. However, like we agreed, I think all of us unanimously, the judgment still remains with the human being at the end of to take the final call. However, I mean, there are tests like, can a CEO job be taken over by a bot, let's say, and the debate is always on. And it is part of evolution, I guess. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, we look forward to get there, but I don't know how far it will take for our people to get there, but we wish to. But yeah, life is not going to be easy though at both ends. So definitely one side, technology helps us to increase productivity in a lot of other ways. The other side, definitely there are certain areas still it's gray where technology cannot intrude and help us much better than what humans do now. So anyway, even if technology evolving, and I'm going to use this technology in future for multiple purpose, I'm sure that the human intervention is a must. We can't do anything, which forces every organization, which compels every organization to find people and train them according to how they can use the technology, right? It's very important for us to know how to use the technology rather than simply trying to use it, because these are all coming into the productive environment. At the end of the day, what matters is that the productivity, right? Today, I'm implementing technology, one, to reduce the time to source or whatever activity. The second one is to how I improve the productivity for the organization, right? If I'm using technology, if there is no improvement in productivity, it doesn't make any sense for an organization to go with. Rather, I will run with human intervention with the old model where I was much more effective, what some of the companies may feel in future. So it's very important for technology to see how it can improve to multiple aspects, multiple points or multiple domains where it's a compulsive need for an organization on certain parameters, which the technology can pick it up and does something on its own to throw the results, so that will make everyone's life easier. So there's a long way to go to reach the stage, definitely, as rightly said by you. Yeah, right. So any other points, Sanjeev and Sharon, to discuss on this topic?
Uh, like it is not only for the recruitment. I think while it is evolving, but I think one of the important thing about the usage of technology depends also about the two things. One is that about the intent of why are we implementing technology. It can be only be successful, I might be wrong, is that if the intent is to bring in efficiency, not only the sole intent should not be to reduce the cost, because only reducing the cost has a limited shelf life. Then what are you going to do it? So there should be a holistic vision for any organization to go for technology or introduction of technology, is that they should have clear goal that what do they want it, efficiency and other efficiency, productivity thing. Only if the soul at the many of the places where we see that the while we have the couple of the technology vendors, when they come, they also have their own interesting stories to share. So some of the places where feel that they did not have a very good experience is also because the purpose was that the cost, and cost is something you cannot it, it is flexible. You cannot just the sole purpose should not be there. You should have the very clear thing about that. And the second thing is about the good thing about that like we in our organization, we have the monthly performance management. Trust me, we have monthly performance management for 65,000 employees across 160 countries, and they get bonus on that. So here the technology actually plays. Every employee, even every function, even HR, legal, everybody is evaluated on that. So here technology, we always need that in fact your guy, the guys on our part, the TeamLease role also, they go through the same thing also. So the technology, the data what it presents, the best thing about the technology is that it does not have biases. But if it is either it is a garbage or non-garbage, but it is emotionless. So that helps in at least pushing it to the managers, that whether you believe it or not believe it, at least it does not have emotions. So it reduces the human biases or the manager biases, especially in the performance management on productivity management.
Absolutely.
So if somebody has rolled out 10 sites in a metro city, and somebody has rolled out 3 sites in an up country, the technology will, if you put in the weightage, will give you the right result, that since the traveling distance was more, the 3 is equal to 10 in the metro, because within cyber city there are 5 sites. So the effort put in. So where the manager probably will say that he took 30 days and this guy took only 5 days to do that. So the human biases, where the role of technology comes, is that at least it is beyond the emotions. So so that is how the technology can help, and there has to be some purpose for it. So in our performance management, we use technology more for the performance management, because we know that we have a mixed set of the managers who are the very young managers who are extremely passionate, but they also need to look into the the larger perspective of it, not only on the productivity side. So that is how the technology has its is helping us in some way, and we are using it for whether it is the contract or non-contract, we use it for all.
Absolutely, rightly said. It's a very good insight about how technology is, what you mentioned was unbiased, right? So definitely that eliminates a lot of garbages at the beginning of the step only, right? That will help you to pull in right people. That's where your efficiency increases for the recruiters today, right? So when I pull in 100 profiles, I'm not sending 100 profiles to the managers for them to look into it and shortlist and put it onto them, and further the bias comes into picture, right? When based on the candidates, right? So that can be easily eliminated. That way, I think technology has played a major role today and is playing today, and that will continue. The question is that how more effectively the technology can get into other fields, monitor other fields, and get more rightful candidates on the table. Is the thing that we have to look for going in the future, right? Great. So very good insight, Charanpreet and Sanjeev. It's great talking to you, both of you. And from TeamLease, so we thank you very much for giving your time for this particular session. And we look forward for more interesting topics in future. I'll be connected with you. So let's see how we can take it forward, right? So definitely there are a lot of things coming up, and I'm sure that we'll have much more interesting topic to discuss in the future.
Sure, it was really interesting interacting, and thanks, Charanpreet. You have actually shared some of the very interesting, very valuable, meaningful insights. It was a learning experience.
Thank you, Sanjeev. I think this is Mutual Appreciation Society. Thank you very much for your insights and for the connect. And thank you, TeamLease, for holding this conversation today.